Some of the most faithful Christians I know are financially stuck, not because they don't pray, not because they lack faith, but because of a spiritual mistake almost nobody recognizes. And the dangerous part is that it doesn't feel like a mistake at all. It feels like faithfulness. If that sentence made you pause, stay with me. Because what you're about to hear might completely shift how you see your current financial season. You wake up tired. You try again. You push forward. But somewhere inside, there is this quiet, persistent feeling that no matter how much effort you put in, something just isn't moving. You give. You tithe. You pray over your finances. You read the right books. You make sacrifices. And still, it feels like the walls are closing in instead of opening up. If that resonates with you, I need you to hear something important right now. The problem is probably not what you think it is. Most people, when they feel financially stuck, immediately look for a practical answer. A better budget, a new income stream, a different job. And while those things can be helpful, they often miss the real issue entirely. Because the real issue is spiritual. It is a hidden misalignment that most Christians never even recognize as a spiritual mistake. And until it is addressed at the root, the cycle tends to repeat itself. Here is what I mean. There is a pattern that shows up again and again in the lives of sincere, faithful people. They are not lazy. They are not faithless. They are genuinely trying. But underneath their effort, there is a quiet trust misplacement happening, one that feels completely normal, because culture has trained us to accept it without question. Think about this honestly for a moment. If your income disappeared tomorrow, not just reduced but gone, where would your peace go with it? Would your sense of security collapse completely? Would your identity feel shaken? Because if the answer is yes, that reveals something profound. It reveals that your true foundation of security may not be where you think it is. The prophet Jeremiah wrote about exactly this during one of the most turbulent seasons in Israel's history. In Jeremiah chapter 17, verses 5 through 8, he describes two kinds of people using an incredibly visual metaphor. One person trusts in human strength, in systems, in networks, in their own ability to make things work. Jeremiah compares this person to a shrub in the desert, dry, isolated, struggling to survive. Not necessarily destroyed, but never truly thriving either. The second person trusts in God, genuinely, not just verbally. And Jeremiah compares this person to a tree planted beside a river. Even in drought, even in pressure, the roots reach water that the surface cannot see. Here is what makes this so convicting. Both people can look the same from the outside. Both can be working hard. Both can be going to church. Both can be praying. The difference is not in their behavior. It is in where their security is actually rooted. Where your trust truly lives determines where your peace truly lives. Not where you say your trust is, where it truly lives. Many Christians today trust more in the stability of their job, the performance of the economy, the safety of their savings account, than they do in spiritual direction. And the result is not necessarily financial ruin. The result is often something quieter and more exhausting. Constant anxiety. A background hum of fear that never fully goes away, no matter how much you earn. That quiet anxiety is a signal. And it is pointing directly at the first hidden mistake. But that's only the first layer of the problem. Because there is a second one, and this one cuts even deeper. And most people never stop long enough to see it. Let me show you something God has embedded quietly in Scripture. Because this principle appears in places most people overlook, and its impact is massive. King Solomon, in Proverbs chapter 13, verse 11, writes something that feels almost counterintuitive in modern culture. He says that wealth gathered in haste tends to disappear, but whoever builds slowly, little by little, will increase. Now, in a world that glorifies overnight success, that verse can feel like bad news. But it is actually one of the most liberating principles in all of biblical wisdom. Here is why. We live in an era that has made speed feel like a virtue. The faster you reach success, the more impressive it looks. And so many people, especially younger adults, find themselves chasing growth at a pace that their character simply has not caught up to. They want the result without the formation. They want the harvest without the roots. And what often happens is that even when opportunities come, they cannot be sustained because the person receiving them has not yet become someone capable of carrying them long term. God rarely builds lasting prosperity in a hurry. He builds it in maturity. He grows what character can sustain. And if the growth you are asking for would currently collapse you spiritually, emotionally, or relationally, it is an act of grace, not punishment, that it has not arrived yet. Solomon also writes in Proverbs chapter 21, verse 5, that the plans of the diligent lead to abundance. Not the prayers of the passive, not the wishes of the hopeful, the plans of the diligent. In ancient Israelite culture, planning was not considered separate from faith. It was considered an expression of it. Wisdom and preparation were seen as spiritual disciplines, not just practical ones. So let me ask you directly, do you have a financial direction right now, or do you have financial reactions? Are you making intentional, prayerful decisions about money, or are you mostly responding to crises as they come? Because faith without wisdom tends to create cycles. You believe, you hope, things shift slightly, and then 6 months later, you are back in the same place. Not because God is not listening, but because the structural habits underneath have not changed. And this is where the third mistake quietly appears, and it may be the most uncomfortable one. Jesus, in Luke chapter 12, verse 48, says something that does not get quoted nearly as often as it should. He says that to whom much is given, much will be required. Most people hear that verse and think about the wealthy. But consider this. The average person living in modern America, even while struggling, has access to resources, education, technology, community, opportunity that would have been unimaginable to most people throughout history. That is not a guilt trip. That is a context shift. What if the reason God has not yet increased your resources is not because He is withholding blessing from you, but because He is waiting for you to demonstrate faithful stewardship with what you already have? What if you are asking God to bless something He never asked you to build? What if the financial breakthrough you have been waiting for has actually been waiting on you, specifically on a question of alignment, of obedience, of direction? Blessing always carries weight. And God is not cruel enough to place weight on someone who is not yet ready to carry it. So what does God do in seasons like this? He carefully strips away the illusions of control, the false sense that if you just work hard enough, you can engineer security on your own. He realigns the pride and the impatience, the places where self-sufficiency has quietly replaced spiritual dependence. And He rebuilds something much more durable than income. He rebuilds character, discipline, a faith that is not rooted in circumstances, but in something that cannot be shaken when circumstances change. This is not stagnation. This is spiritual formation happening through financial pressure. Here is what this looks like practically. First, ask yourself honestly, where is my trust living right now? Not where you want it to be, where it truly is. Then, without self-condemnation, bring that honestly before God. Second, look at what you are building. Are your financial goals aligned with where you sense God leading you? Or are you asking Him to bless a direction you chose without consulting Him? Third, stop reacting to money and start planning with wisdom. Even a simple, prayerful financial plan is a form of faith in action. Fourth, examine your stewardship of what you already have, not as a performance, but as a genuine reflection of the trust you want to build with God. Financial stagnation is rarely about money alone. It is almost always about alignment. And the deepest work is not in the numbers. It is in the place where your identity, your obedience, and your trust actually live. You are not broken. You are not forgotten. This season is not evidence that God has turned away from you. It may be the most spiritually active season of your life, precisely because He is close enough to redirect you. This message continues in the next video. Don't miss it. It takes everything you just heard one step deeper into what happens when you actually shift your alignment and why that shift changes everything. If this message spoke to your heart, type "I am being realigned" in the comments as a declaration of faith. Let it be your anchor today. Keep believing. Keep walking forward. God is moving behind what you can see. God bless you.